in different areas. Yeah, I mean, this is the home of the brave for sure.
It's all over. It's in Europe as well, Timmy. The only
Is
difference
it?
it used, yeah, you
Mm,
fucking hell, man. I'm in Denmark, and it's honestly when I say it's Illuminati Central, it's
No,
Illuminati fucking Central. This place,
really?
it's
I'll have
that
to look
it's a
into that.
I think
it's a
that
social experiment. This place is a social experiment. If you see the way people like the how deep the brainwashing is, if you see how people react when I mentioned, for example, not about flat earth or any conspiracy, but to do with politicians. Politicians are corrupt everywhere else apart from Denmark. And that's a God's on it. Even if you point it out to them, they get triggered right away, man. It's quite scary how there's this trigger the minute you start talking about certain subjects like tax and earning money under the counter and stuff like that. It's like it's the reaction is the same all over. The mentality of like the normal people. It's quite scary actually. It's like as if it's a script. The thought patterns, a whole fucking lot, man. I'm telling you,
so
the little robots over here. But
I was telling Tim earlier about how we're like kind of brainwashed into this monetary system, and like people have a hard time seeing beyond how like life could work without money. I noticed
yep,
that can kind of apply to conspiracies where like you're talking about the ad, or Tim was talking about his mom getting adverts based on what she was talking about. So
yep.
people, a lot of with these conspiracies, people can see the monetary conspiracy, but they cannot see beyond that. Like, and we're
Ah, right. Yep,
and we're dealing with people that
yep.
literally create money out of thin air. Like they don't care about money. They care that we care about money. That's
Yeah.
it.
They don't
So
need
like
money. They
they don't need
yep.
money. No.
No,
So
why they own all the aeroplanes and transport and fucking islands and
it,
everything anyway. What the
you're
fuck do
just
they need money
if
for?
you're just like limiting yourself to the money, you're just gonna be like, oh well, this corporation did this for money, and they lied about this for money, and everything is money. Like my dad, like
That's a good
everything he
point.
sees in the life is like everything he relates to in this life is money, and
Well, money is the acquisition of power for these people, so maybe they have enough
yeah,
to go and do whatever they want, but as they take more and put more away or do these Soros type funded bullshit things, it's all about power and swaying and narratives and bullshit, man.
yeah. But I'm saying like at the top, they create the fucking money out of nothing, and so like the people that create the money, they don't really care about money because they can just make as much as they want. They care that we believe in this shit.
That's the thing.
So
Yeah. It's the people's belief in the petrodollar that makes this whole world run
but yeah,
Yeah,
as it
you're
is.
we
right.
give it life. We
You're
give life to it. It's
Yeah.
us that feed it.
you're right
We
about
feed the
the
Yeah.
fucking.
you're right about like
It makes our life pretty easy though, but
the
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, it
the
does.
management class is obsessed with money, and that's like these people aren't racist. They're not. They don't care about your religion, what skin color you are. They care about green. These people, they literally judge you like has your and they don't respect new money at all. New money is a joke to them. Has your
Yep.
family acquired wealth? Has your family kept wealth in the family for multiple generations? Okay, now we'll give you respect. That's how this shit works.
Yep. Yep.
It,
Hierarchy. Yep. It's all about fucking your
and
roots, your
that's like the
ancestry.
low level shit. Like the low level people care about money because it's all about like you will get respect if you can demonstrate that okay, I'm a billionaire within your fucking rigged system. And then they'll respect you, but like at the top, they don't really give a fuck about money. And like these conspiracies aren't just about money. They're about power.
Something. Yeah.
So
But I think it's something really. I think it's way darker. I just see. Do you know when the? It always amazed me. You know when people say it's like an experiment. Well, I think it is a fucking experiment. Because if you think it this way, everything we buy, like an iPhone or a new computer, always breaks down and stuff like that. You know, it's like they've done the testing and then they put it out onto us to test it again, kind of thing. Because it always seems to break down. That stuff. So I
well
look
that
at it as like, sorry, go
Well,
on.
there is such thing as planned obsolescence, and
yeah
there are
Ah,
some
yeah, yeah,
cheaper products that inhibit that. But then again, there are some Apple laptops and desktops that are still working from the 80s and such. So,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? So it's not always the case, but they have figured out that, hey, we're just going to keep pushing these iPhones just because we know that people want the newest and greatest shit, basically.
That's an Edward Bernays thing where, like, originally they used to manufacture shit to last and to work well, because then like it would spread through word of mouth, and
Yep.
people would buy the shit because it was good and they knew it was good. But Edward Bernays like changed all that shit. Fuck, I forget the right wording, but like you usually like they made products that people would want, and then Edward Bernays changed that to where like they would make people want the products they produce, kind of a thing. And
Oh,
so
right, it's called. Oh,
I
fuck.
forget the
Yeah, I know
wording
what
to
it's
that
called.
shit.
It's called something. Yeah.
I forget.
Ah,
Yeah, I
shit.
forget what it's called. And so basically, yeah, like he changed it to where, you know, in the past, like if you go 100 years ago, people would be pissed off. They'd be like, "I'm not buying this cheap Chinese shit. It's just gonna fucking break. Like I don't care. It's like I get it at Walmart for $10. I'm gonna have to buy a new one in another month." But now they've changed us through advertising that we accept that shit, where we're just like going to Walmart and buying something cheap and we know it's gonna break, and then we'll just buy another new one because that's what they make more money doing. And that's like an Edward Bernays marketing tactic. It's kind of interesting.
The thing that the
Well,
thing I
it's like
think.
a doctor. A doctor doesn't. He'd rather prescribe you something for a longer duration, or indefinitely, than have a quick fix for you, because obviously, they benefit off of sick people. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
business, basically.
That's the shit
So,
we should be concentrating on. That's what I always say, and I don't give a fuck who gets pissed off. That's what I always say. I do believe. I believe what Jamie said about the flat Earth being rolled out, and it is a psyop. It's just like a distraction. They're just. I think it was like a two-phase thing. One with Donald Trump, right? Because if Obama had lasted another 4 years, there would have been fucking riots in America. There would have been people getting more and more pissed off, maybe in about 2 years or whatever. And they knew this. So who did they roll out? And who's he placating? The people with the fucking guns. Is that Donald Trump? He's got so much support there. So now the gun owners are quite happy. They're feeling a bit safer now. So they've brought that level back down. Now they're going to work at it. I believe that Trump was put in there to placate the mindset of America. They knew
Yep.
America was going to
That's
wake
where
up.
so that's where it comes down to, like, they're listening to us and all that shit through Facebook ads. So they're listening to us and they can put up Trump in front of us to say all the shit we want to hear. That's another
Yeah,
part of it.
yeah, and I think it was. But that's a good sign because they had to put that guy up. That meant that people were waking up.
Yeah.
So it's like a
no,
natural.
it was the same. No, it's always the same though. It's the new presidential campaign always has somebody new rolled out. So Hope and Change was
Yeah.
Obama in that era, and then we have this loudmouth non-politician in this era against an extreme lifelong politician. So this is it. I mean, this
Well,
is the
Yeah.
dichotomies that are always there.
well,
Yeah.
think of this,
No, Tim.
guys. But
Tim is right about
one
that.
second. Well, 1 second. The thing is, you remember when Obama was president, gun sales and fucking bullets by private owners fucking escalated, right?
Mm.
They can work out trends. They can see into the future. They can set trends. The people that control the what do you call it, a world view of people or how people react and stuff like that. Right? It went up. They were shiting themselves. They were scared that was going to happen. And who
Yeah,
did they look
culture
about?
creators
Let's
and
put
and, and
let's
things
put
like
uh,
things
let's
like
put
Sandy
Trump
Hook.
in. Yeah, but let's put Trump in there, and that's all he done. Now it's back. Now he's look, South Korea and North Korea. Look, there's big things happening. They're dropping their borders. They're moving their armies away from the borders, man. They're getting ready. These fuckers are getting ready to take over. When you see countries like that joining together and stuff like that, this is the geopolitical what's happening in the world, and that all trickles down to us, and it means we lose more freedom. They're I'll just a quickie. In Britain fucking now, the police are applying to the government. They're already thinking about this because all the stabbings in London, right, is they're already just saying they're going to change the stop and search. They will not now need reasonable cause. Now, if people
Wow.
understand the implication, yeah, exactly, you get the implications of that, Timmy. But
Yeah.
most people don't. Most people think, oh, but that's great. And
They'll
the thing is,
protect you, Ali, from terrorists. Don't you get it?
I know they.
Problem, reaction, solution.
Wow, exactly, and that's it. Now, I always believe all these stabbings. I believe because I lived in London for 12 years, and people were getting fucking stabbed and fucking mugged like all the fucking time, right? So I believe that it was always there. It's just now the newspapers reporting it, and that's what they've done through the media. They've started reporting this where people are going to, just what you said, Timmy, problem, reaction, solution. But they've decided, all right, we want to change this law, so we'll bring out this problem that's been around for fucking
right.
ever.
There could be a problem, right, that exists, and then if the media doesn't report on it, no one will even know it's there. And then there could be a problem.
Well, just like right now with Hamas and Israel fighting. What is the fucking media reporting? That Hamas is shooting hundreds of missiles and killed one person in Israel or whatever. And what are they doing? Well, targeted bombing strikes. They're going and killing people. And,
what about the 30 people that the IDF have killed in the last, 2 months? Timmy, this has been going on for about 3 months. It was a march. It happened. There was a march about these Palestinians, these dangerous Palestinians with rocks in their hands, just marching up to protest the what do you call it? Protest the barrier or whatever it was, right? And that guy Netanyahu came out and he says, look, these people. He says, I'm not saying that we're not going to use live rounds. And they just started shooting them. There's been about 30 or 40 in the last 3 months. This has been going on for months. They've been going up every day, and they'll be getting shot at and stuff like that, man. And their only weapons, rocks, missiles, my ass. They've not got fucking missiles. How can they afford missiles?
Well, of course, there's.
You know what I mean? This has been going on for fucking months, Timmy. This has been going on for months. There's videos all over
for Israel.
But I did see, I seen a great video. I was watching this news thing from Palestine, and it was a false flag. It was these Palestinian people that were meant to have been shot and all this. There was no blood in them or anything. So both sides are actually at this, making this false, getting crisis actors. I'm telling you, but it was quite funny to see that. I was like, fuck, man, even the Palestinians are doing it as well, man. It was funny as fuck. There's a couple of videos that I was like, oh, fucking hell. And it was just pure crisis acting. And it was to do with the shootings up at the border in the last couple of months. It was these guys who were met, and there was people lying about going, no, don't touch me and all this. And it wasn't one of the shady, stupid ones that YouTubers come on and do about, false flag events. Or look, why are they standing about, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could blatantly see it was so bad. It was so bad. It was like a fucking parody.
So I was on a hangout tonight, and Donald Trump got brought up, and I was trying to explain to these people that Donald Trump was a part of the system, controlled opposition. He's working for the elite, but they're just like, they can't see it because they go, oh, well, the media attacks Trump, therefore he's good for us. And to me, that's just like reverse psychology right there. Like, you can't. Yeah. It's so silly to think that.
Do you agree that Trump was a billionaire though? Like, he's working for the elites for what? Money or for power, or what does he need?
How about he has to? If he doesn't, they'll just do away with him. How about that?
Well, it could be, but that's really hard to prove.
Tim, don't you think that they would threaten his children, threaten his life?
Yeah, exactly.
Who?
Trump. There's a video of like Trump kissing Giuliani when Giuliani's dressed up in drag. I mean,
these are low level, Tim. See these guys, these
drag?
billionaires. Well, you
Yeah,
I'd like
know,
to see
Giuliani.
that.
There's a video on
yeah, yeah,
YouTube.
yeah,
Giuliani's
yeah,
dressed up in drag, and
yeah,
Trump kisses him.
What the
So I mean, you want to tell me he's not a
yeah.
part of the elite? I don't know what the fuck
tranny
else.
conspiracy?
Oh,
Of
Yeah.
don't
course he is.
start
He's a
on that,
billionaire.
man. I've had enough with Pete Shea with fucking.
Oh
Don't,
God,
don't
yeah.
start.
No kidding.
You've got to look at people's faces upside down and that. I'm going,
Oh
well,
my.
The looking up people's faces
Oh,
upside down made me laugh so hard.
oh
that
God,
was
when I
good,
was
dude.
pissing myself,
That
guys,
was
I'm
good.
telling you, I was falling off my chair. I couldn't
Because
believe.
he was like, "Look, Patricia Steer, look," and it was
I
just
know.
her upside down, and everyone was like, "Okay."
That's proof, man. It's proof. And Einstein was fucking a woman and all this, man. Oh God.
Dude,
That's hilarious.
I was fucking mad.
Obama is so
See, that's
Sama.
a nice thing. Just think if it
are
wasn't
you
for Flat
peeing,
Earth, we
Tim?
wouldn't have so many interesting characters. There you go.
Exactly. I agree,
There you
man,
are.
for sure.
I mean, people should enjoy it a bit more rather than get triggered. Here's one for you. Steve McRae knows. Right, the thing is with Steve McRae, I have to give that guy kudos. The guy's uber got he's brilliant at philosophy. I mean, he
He
really
is
cleaned up
very brilliant.
epistemology, all that.
Yes.
The guy's amazing, right? Now I'm just talking about fallacies and stuff like that. I keep hearing on his show, right? This must really, it must really irk him, right? Because there's people on his side of the debate, kind of his friends or whatever, that are arguing, and clearly, I know I'm not as clued up as him, but I know some low level fallacy shit, and these guys are committing them when they're saying or they're arguing or using,
He knows them all.
he knows them
Yeah.
all, right? So he must cringe when he hears people on it. Now I find that just a little. Well, not a little bit dishonest because I can understand he get eaten alive. He already has had fallouts because he's quite truthful to a point. When if he doesn't agree, he'll say like. But sometimes, man, if I'm picking up their fallacies, but he must really cringe, man, when they commit them. You can just.
It's funny.
tell.
I watched 2 videos of him tonight. Those, I guess, with Conspiracy Cats and
Oh God.
Rose Sanchez. Yeah. And actually, that's funny that you say that because I actually like to watch his face to see what he's thinking when some of these things go
Excellent.
on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I do, man. Yeah.
But isn't it
Because I
true
could care
that
less about. Go ahead, P.
you kind of have to have fallacies? Like, there's no getting around
Yeah,
it.
there's a fallacy of fallacy. Like you can say everything's a fallacy almost.
Yeah.
You
Like-
appeal to that's circular logic because everything you could denote back to like axiomatically circular logic if you really wanted to go hard about it. So
Right.
You can point
And when
it-
you're on
it-
like Nathan's debate show, it's like they don't know what a fallacy is, so they think a fallacy.
Yeah.
Like if they point out a fallacy, they've won the argument. Or
yeah,
some
like
shit
they
like
think that that's inherently wrong. So let's just say, for example, if the Earth is a sphere and NASA is actually taking pictures of the spherical Earth, and I said, well, there's proof of the Earth, or there's evidence of the Earth being a sphere from NASA, right? If that's actually objectively true, them actually taking pictures of that, I might be making an argument ad populum or something. I could think of it.
That's
But
that's actually
at the same
that's the
at
fallacy.
the same time,
fallacy.
if it's objectively true, at the same time, I'm not wrong.
right.
I might be coming at it wrong.
That's the
perhaps,
fallacy.
but
That's the fallacy. Like just because you're making
Yeah.
an illogical fallacy does not mean you are wrong. That's a fallacy.
Well, debating doesn't find the truth. It only just determines who won the argument. That's it. You can have debating, but debating about truth, there's no debate.
it's all very subjective.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And people say that, right? I'll say that. A lot of people say that. Yeah, I know it's all, but yet they'll get into debates with someone when they know that their opinion's just the same as the other
Well, I
person's
mean,
opinion.
it's like
Debating's-
when you get down to it, you can't really prove anything. Like if we're gonna be real, we can't really prove anything 100% and shit.
I can't prove anything to you or Allie. I can prove things to myself.
But
That's
that's a
epistemology. That's knowledge.
yeah, that's a dark hole to go down though, because
No, I can show you
yeah,
evidence. I can't prove it to
no, no,
you.
no,
You prove
no,
it to
no,
yourself ultimately.
no. I was talking what P. Mars saying
Okay.
when he said, it's we don't know what reality is or whatever, or and end up we don't really know anything. And there's a line of thinking that's a dark hole to go down, because then you can become like, I see a lot of like cynicism, right? But to the point of I don't believe anything, and that's a dark, because then
Right.
you'll shove away any evidence whatsoever. And I see that with fucking what do you call it?
I think that's
Flat Earth.
nihilism.
I don't care about ball Earth. It's flat Earth I see, and that's the group that I'm involved in. I see it all over the place. This cynicism, cynicism, and Thomas Reid.
Extreme skepticism.
Yeah, extreme skepticism. That's it. Skepticism. It's the same thing, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's a dark hole to go down. You have to find a level. You have to actually end up going with your gut instinct and question whether it feels right or it
Look,
doesn't.
I agree. Like,
You know?
if you want to, like, legitimately, you can't really prove anything, but like, you're gonna have to have some beliefs. Like, you can't just
Yeah.
like go through life with no beliefs in anything. Like, that's fucktarded. So I don't know. It's like, how do you determine what you're gonna believe? And it's hard. Like, okay, we live in a society that's, it's like wall to wall propaganda. We're born into a lie, indoctrinated into the lie. Like, how do we know what is true? And it's, I really think it's pretty much impossible to know what's true, because I know, like, for a fact, I'm gullible, and I have fallen and bought into lies in the past. So, like,
Yeah, but to
am
what
I to
level?
think
What
to extreme
level
levels?
of
To extreme, like, I've believed crazy shit that's not true
No,
in the
but you're
past.
saying you know that you're gullible, but
Right.
are you as gullible as you were before?
Well, I think knowing I'm gullible helps me be less
Right.
gullible. And these people that don't think they're gullible at all and think they're knowledgeable, they're the most gullible, or one of the most gullible groups of people. And I just think, yeah, like, I stopped doing research in 2009, 2010, because I was like, man, like, all this information is bullshit. We are like wall to wall propaganda. We're indoctrinated when we're children. We're lied to our whole lives. Like, how the fuck can we really know anything? And we can't. We can't. But at the same time, you have to have some beliefs. Like, you can't just not believe in nothing because you become a nihilist. And then if you read, like, about propaganda, they were promoting this nihilism shit. And that's what I hear in a lot of the alternative media, not just Flat Earth, is just like, oh, well, I don't believe it, I know it, and shit like that. Like, they're trying to tell people not to believe in anything, and I think they want to destroy the system as it is
That's
right
that's
now.
like saying that's like saying don't use your instinct, because a belief is because I, I use my instinct. That's what you're saying. When you go so far that you're beginning to question, to stop your cynicism, the last thing to cross over, the last thing to take on board your instinct is to use your instinct. Does it feel right? Because that's the decision. That's where the
Well,
belief is. And I use my instinct. And I think
I
that's
don't know.
what most
I
people.
hear a lot of people say that. They go like, I'm gonna use my discernment and shit. I will listen to someone and then I will discern whether they're telling me the truth or not. And
That's too clinical for me. I don't like that word, but it's the same thing as instinct, I suppose, because using your instinct, you're discerning something. But I find that I look at certain words, it sounds very clinical. I like instinct because it's more of a natural. It's
right.
more of a natural thing. If you say instinct, it's more mystical rather than discernment, meaning that it's more programmed. It's like it's, you know what I'm saying? I like to, as I say, I might use my brain, but I can use my brain to a point. But if it doesn't, if I can't convince myself, if it doesn't feel right, I won't go with it, kind of thing. And that's worked for me. I'm 52. I've lasted quite well having that kind of philosophy. Is just going, but but sometimes it can get you into trouble being instinctive. It's just finding that balance, which is kind of hard. The yin and the yang, the middle. You know what I mean? It's finding that fucking seeing two sides of the story kind of thing and detaching your emotions, you know, to the point that it's not affecting your decision kind of thing. You know, as much as you can do, or as much as a human's capable of doing, I suppose. That's just the way I kind of think. So,
See, like
I don't know.
I don't know. I think people used to be more aware. I think the everyday common man used to be more aware of like with the truth and what's going on, and they're being fucked, and they knew it. And then like today, we've been inundated with entertainment, distractions, brainwashing, all this shit, and people. And then
What if this is for like an ultimate good though? What if the culture creators thought to, well, think about it.
no, I
You
thought
think of it as, hold on, you think of it as a slavery system. You think of it as usury, which it can be described as that. But at the same time, if you want to run a culture, and we look at what's happened in the past, you know, resource-based economy is what I've pushed for a long time. It's very, very hard to implement because we don't know what that looks like. But at the same time, what we have now, even though you could argue that we've been indoctrinated to it, it seems like they're fighting for this system to continue to be believed by the people, so that inherently maybe it brings more peace at the end of the day.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, there was this episode or season 2 of Mr. Robot. In season 1, they like destroyed the financial system. They erased all the data of the debts and all that shit, and like totally fucked up the economy. And then the Earth was, or the country was, America was plunged into chaos, and it caused a lot of bad things more than good. And they were like, well, maybe people actually need to be ruled, and we fucked up. We like, I don't know. That's a good question.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm
it is a
saying.
philosophical question.
Because
You know, we can look at it.
it does seem like we do need to be ruled. We bought into the system, and if we were like left to our own devices, we'd fucking destroy ourselves. It does.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
We wouldn't have the quality of life, first off, if we wouldn't live in this system. If we wanted to be like, hey, I'm gonna be a billy goat on the fucking Colorado range, you know, like,
And eat
well,
vegetables
yeah, dude, like go, you know, like have fun with that, dude. But
and drink
we've all
tangerine, man.
make mead and drink mead by the campfire.
But
Make
if
your
Go
own,
about
like,
in Hessian
Well-
sacks.
yeah. No thanks, man.
Nah, fuck
I
that
like
shit.
this lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah,
let-
but
let
no,
me-
but
let
if
me
you
comment.
well, if
Sorry.
you look at the elite though, they write books and they don't care about us at all. If you look at and I think they keep lowering the quality of life over time. You look at a guy like Aldous Huxley, where he's saying like they're basically using drugs and propaganda to make us live a life that would be unacceptable by most standards. So I think they're just like gradually fucking us over and over and making life worse and worse and worse. Well, it's better for them. And
But and it is really good for them. That's out of the question almost. But if we look at history and we just kind of presuppose that it's somewhat true about the Crusades, about the Dark Ages, about, you know, sometimes when people would be fucking pinned up by their intestines and tortured with these devices that they thought about, just nasty stuff. Whereas today, yes, you know, there are parts of the world that still do that, but it's a little more civilized. It's a little more better in that regard, in that, you know, you don't believe in Christianity and you're not going to convert, well, you're going to be fucking hung, you know, like there is a
Yeah,
big
but the point-
difference.
Yeah, but the point is, right, that's all well and said. But when was it we've actually had a chance to actually grow naturally together? Because if we are inherently bad, we would have never lasted. The human race would have never propagated. we would all been inbred, if you know what I mean, because we would all killed it. We would all been running about killing our enemies, fighting for power and that. So there would have been known. There would have been. There would be everybody would be inbred. We must have lived at one point to survive. We must have fucking lived where when we seen a stranger, we didn't immediately fucking attack them or whatever. We try to communicate with them. We've never had a chance. You know, they've had their time, man. You know, we've always, if you can go back 10,000 years, you've got, if you believe in the history or whatever, but at every point in our life, as far as history goes back, there's been people telling us what to do and using manipulation or brain, psychology or whatever. Psychology just didn't come out the fucking just last year, man. They've been using it to control humanity since the first ruler, the witch doctor or the shaman or the high priest or whatever. He had the kings. He had the king.
I know, but
you know
the point is it's almost look, it's almost like the Bible with the Ten Commandments. It's almost like our law system that we're born into. It's almost like we're indoctrinated into things that maybe we can call slavery, maybe we can look at and say, hey, it could be better in this way or that way. But ultimately, it makes our mentality, for the most part, as far as the populace, go out and play that game. Hey, don't kill people. Hey, don't steal people's stuff, for the most part, right? And so we have a situation where we have a lot of people. We don't have, I mean, I don't know. I can argue it either way.
What makes people bad? What makes people want to kill? And
I would like to read a Reagan quote right now.
Go for it.
Ronald Reagan, cannot swords be turned into plowshares? Can we all nations not live in peace? In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think of how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war? And that's where I agree with Ali here. It's like the human race is in this symbiotic relationship with the rulers where we're being abused and they're abusing us and they're lying to us. They're creating all these fake wars. They're just propaganda, brainwashing us into all this bullshit so they can live good and we live bad, and they think of themselves as a different race than us.
Well, that's the whole thing with maybe the people with the Zionists or like the Talmud kind of mentality or something. But the thing is look, they've rigged America up like a Christmas tree with bombs, to defend and told other countries that, hey, you can't produce any of this kind of stuff. We got 100 of them fucking sitting back here waiting for your ass. So any kind of America is, in my opinion, very safe as far as any intruder besides its own self doing a fucking false flag on itself, in my opinion,
Yeah, it's definitely important. America's definitely important in the big scheme of things. I just really feel, and I genuinely do feel this. I know we're getting screwed in Europe, but I really do feel sorry for the American people, the way that they're getting fucking shafted, man. They really are, really quite badly, Which is a shame because
I don't know.
Remember. Yeah, I know. But if you look at what's going to happen, you're getting shafted because you're going to be fucked just in a few years, man. The same as Europe is going to. And the thing that I feel sorry about is you are one of the only countries that are fucking weaponed up, man. Use guys are the only the guys that own the guns there. Use are the only what do you call it? The only defense at the moment. Is that group of people American with the amount of guns you guys have got?
Militia,
Ah,
yeah.
well, no, but
There's.
no, not even the militia. I'm not talking about. Yeah, well, if you want to call
I would
every,
call myself at
every
that point if there was a foreign invader and they
yeah,
needed me to use my weapons, I would be a part of a militia at
yeah.
that
But
point.
what about your government? What about your government? If your government invades you, would you do the same? Because it's invaded you.
Well, no, no,
Yeah, that's what I'm
that's a
saying.
tricky
And
situation.
my friend, he's in like the home guard over here in Denmark, and we were talking about, if it was a breakdown, and the government turned. I said to him, I said, Yannick, I said, if the government turned round and told you to turn the guns round on your friends and family, they wanted. I said, what would you do? I said, would you agree to it, or would you just
Hey,
come
that's
the
the
other side?
problem.
He
That's the
goes,
problem with
that's
this
it.
whole conspiracy, isn't it?
But the
Is they
problem
don't
is,
have
Timmy,
enough
let me finish.
forces. They don't have
His
enough
answer.
forces to
Let me
fucking take
tell.
over America.
Let me tell you his answer, and his answer was, "Geez, man," he says, "I've never thought of that before. That's a good question." And then he started going, "Well, it depends what it was for." I was like, "Right, okay, right, fair enough." But it was just quite funny, his reaction to the question. I said, "You do me a favour." I says, "Ask every one of your mates that you're in when you go in your training exercises, ask that same question, please, just to find out." But
Well, that's
sorry,
what
Timmy,
gives
on you go,
me
mate. Yeah,
no, no. That's what gives me hope. Even just thinking of that logically, um, that would never happen. Like, there's no way that there would be enough forces to take over America in any way as far as the American government at all.
yeah,
There's just no way because like that you wouldn't have enough fucking sycophants or psychopaths or
yeah,
something to turn on their own
yeah.
people. Now we do have things like the UN
Oh my God,
encroaching
man.
a bit, and those people, some of them probably, possibly, might not have the same United States kind of hoorah, you know. So yeah, no, I totally agree. Like the police, the fucking military, they're not gonna turn on their own people. That's not gonna happen.
No,
Uh,
no.
but they will
I,
get tossed around in different countries, killing other people for Israel or for whoever, for oil people or whatever. But yeah, I
just for
mean,
that.
they always have to have they always have to have a huge event like the box cutter people on 9/11 that came in.
Oh
Like they
God.
have to have that catalyzing event. Just like they said in PNAC, they outlined it 2 years before. They need a catalyzing event because they need the American people, just like the consent of the people with the petrodollar. They need the American people to consent on sending trillions of dollars. Essentially, they don't understand that at the moment, of course, but they're going to send their young brave people
Yeah.
over for a false bullshit
They
thing
need a new
to give
Pearl
trillions of
Harbor.
dollars. Yeah, and they got their Pearl Harbor. So
Conveniently,
they
it's a coincidence, Tim.
so
Oh yeah, I know.
they had Timothy McVeigh um, with the Oklahoma City bombing,
Hmm.
which was more on the American side of what you're kind of talking about. How we would they would almost have pretext to go after
Well,
people of a certain sect, like oh, he's a gun owner or something like that.
Yeah.
But they already did that in '95 or whatever that was, and that was a disaster for them. I think.
they
I don't know.
passed.
Oh, with Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah,
They
Yeah,
passed
yeah.
legislation off that. So
yeah. Of course they did. Of course they did.
Yeah,
And
that
then
every
was so obvious,
they
man.
had the bogus bombings in the first World Trade Center bombings as well.
Yep.
But I don't
Oh,
know if
that's
you've
right.
seen in
91.
Corbett
Yeah, I did.
Report,
Yeah, yeah.
and Biggest Lie, as far as Timothy McVeigh and that whole story. It's just very suspect. A lot of the reportings and stuff like that. If you actually watch that, who knows what that was all about? But
Yeah. Well, it's what modus operandi for these fuckers, man. And
yeah,
people are just they've attached conspiracy theory instead of conspiracy. You mentioned like, oh, it's a conspiracy. People straight away will add theory onto the end of it in their heads, and they'll straight away think of the wildest. Or the Yeti or fake moon landings. Or not well, fake moon landings is not
flat Earth.
the wildest,
Yeah.
but. Oh, fuck off. You had to slip that in. Right, okay
Oh
then.
yeah.
Like Yeah, of course, man. Flat Earth, because that's probably one of the most, the one that
A-
provokes the
Ancient
most.
Aliens is one I fell
Oh,
for.
ancient aliens. Yep, exactly, exactly. And it's all like. So when you mention, oh, look, there's a conspiracy, people have forgotten what the definition of it is. You know, a group of people getting together for the better of themselves, really, basically. You know, to gain something by,
Yeah, us three can
nefarious and
could
drown.
we could conspire to do something like
Yeah.
something of propagandist resorts or something of terrorism, I guess you could say, or you could say that the official narrative of the 9/11 report is that of a conspiracy. People conspired in a cave to bring these people over to learn how to fly Cessnas, to then learn how to fly planes. This was all a conspiracy. So it's not a bad word. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and it's like, but that's the most ridiculous. Talking about that, the Corbett report, I thought he done 9/11. I think his best, or the funny one, because I watched a lot of him. He was quite. He's in Japan or somewhere like that, Singapore or something. I think he was. He lives or somewhere over. But the best one I seen was the one that he does 9/11 about. You know that he does like a quick speech about what nine
Wow,
eleven
five
was.
minutes. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that always fucking. I just goes like that. There you are, man. You don't need to make a video fucking 5 hours long, man. There it was. There, everything was there for you. That was probably one of the best and concise fucking description of a conspiracy ever, man. Was that
Ever.
5 minutes of 9/11 ever, ever, ever? Of all the
Yeah.
documentaries I've watched, thousands of hours of docs, man. That 5 minutes was just gold. It was just nobody could argue with.
I've thought within a month ago to actually watch that again, and I haven't seen that for years.
Yeah, me
But
too.
I
That's
know
about.
exactly. Yeah, dude,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah, that was like a classic one. That was the one that just goes. If you wanted to present any evidence, any of the naysayers, well, here, look, argue against it. Not argue against it. Just anything anybody's going to say about, because he puts it box cutters in a cave, fucking goat herders, everything, man. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, it
right,
was
okay,
better
now
than that.
bring your
That
evidence. Yeah.
that's that's vague. I mean, he was going into going
Ah, I know,
against
I know. Yeah, yeah,
the multi-billion-dollar defenses of United States, also flying
yeah,
around for
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
45 minutes and just nailed it, dude. Like you're saying, unbelievable.
Yeah. So that was
Did you
classic,
see that,
classic.
P? Did you ever see that?
No, but I know like every time you bring up 9/11 or that comes in the conversation, it's just like, well, the towers couldn't jet fuel can't melt steel beams and
Oh,
the way
exactly.
the way they
Or there's no
Yeah, but
collapsed.
space
electricity,
weapons.
guys,
It's
electricity
all
can.
it's all bad arguments. It's all like, oh well, it looks like this.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
electricity can. It can. I've seen a shovel on a big excavator. I was stood about 20 meters away, and they were digging a hole. We were digging holes for posts, and this excavator put in. It dug down in the main cable, and it was supplying like thousands of businesses and houses and stuff like that, in a big hospital in London. He put in, and they never seen that he got a hold of this, and this thing's about fucking 6 inches across. Cable, it's like a main cable, and actually there was a big bang, and he brought the shovel, and this, if you ever, and there was a huge excavator, and I think it was about a 7 ton or a 10 ton or something, and the bucket on it, the scoop on it had melted. The cable had actually melted this steel, and this thing's about fucking 2 inches thick steel, and it
Yeah, I
just
see
melted it.
shit like that.
So
So,
electricity can do that. I'm not saying it did do that. I'm not saying it did, but
oh, high voltage can fuck shit up,
fuck
dude.
it. Yeah, yeah, man. It melts
So hey,
steel,
look at
man.
my screen really quickly. So I was gonna see what you guys thought about this. As in me looking up this Corbett report 9/11 in 5 minutes. Obviously, still is here. Um, this was from 7 years ago too. Conspiracy
Fucking
theory.
hell, man. Seven
But
years.
but look at the top here, where we see what YouTube is now doing. Um, even on flat Earth videos, they're putting the spherical Earth information. all this kind of stuff. So September 11th attacks, also called 9/11 attacks, series of airline hijackings and suicide attacks committed in 2001 by 19 militants associated with the Islamic extremist group Al Qaeda against targets in the United States, the deadliest terrorist attack on American soil in U.S. history.
Wow.
So,
Fucking hell.
with your knowledge, I think P, have you ever heard of what Al Qaeda means and
The
who
base
most likely created it?
is the base.
Well, it was
It's like
CIA, wasn't
a
it? Was it?
it's like a computer script or something. I forget at this point.
I think it means the
But
base.
isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? This is what gives people in the conspiracy realm a lot of doubt. And I've said this before. People
Oh,
that are kids right now in high school are going to read things like this in their history books. That calls into question everything that pretty much I read in history books as far as 1942 and all this atrocity that Hitler did to the Jews, and how we have to continuously hear about that nearly every year. Um,
Every day in British
so
newspapers, Timmy. Every day in the Daily Mail, I can guarantee you there's a story to do with that, or they've found some Nazi, or they're telling a story about Nazism in the Daily Mail every single day. I,
Jesus, man.
I'm telling you,
Wow.
I swear it, or some kind of subliminal way, not even subliminal, man. It's like like kind of in your face kind of thing. It's kind of disgusting. Like near enough. Well, I would say 6 times a week. There's a story in there because I read it every day just to keep up with how they're screwing over Britain and stuff like that. So, but every day, man, in this newspaper in Britain, it's got a story in it every single fucking day. It's mentioned.
even
It's
if
crazy.
even if Al Qaeda did it, we fucking funded them and created them. So
Yeah, and they even come out and say they did. You know what I mean? You've got people, the military, saying, "Yeah, well, we created them. It's one of our groups that we got to fight against the Russians. We gave them the guns." And and people are saying, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory." I said, "Well, the guy that fucking's telling you, the guy that should know, the expert that should know, is telling you that that's what they did. Why would he tell you? Why would he tell you they did? You know, it's like it's funny that all the conspiracy theories of the past have turned out to be conspiracies near enough. A lot of the big ones, the ones that actually change society, because every event like that changes something, like the laws. These stabbings in London.
You have to, yeah, they always use its problem reaction solution.
Yeah,
And the
just what you
part,
said, and it's
most times they're creating the problem.
yeah,
So
that's
they
what
can react and create the solution for you.
I went off on someone on Facebook the other day. He was posting about the shooting in California at the nightclub, the country dance nightclub, and I was just like, man, there's obviously a political agenda to at least attack the Second Amendment or right to bear arms. So if if there's a political agenda to attack the Second Amendment, and then you have all these like incidents in the news that will help people pass legislation to attack the Second Amendment, like, can you not connect the dots? And like your reaction to these stories, like you shouldn't react to any of the news. You shouldn't react to it because they put out these news stories to get your reaction, right? And then like, oh, people are pissed off about guns. Let's pass this gun control bill now and shit. So obviously there's the motive is behind these people that want to attack the Second Amendment. It should be pretty obvious, but people can't see it. They just see, oh, guns are bad because people are killing people with guns, so let's ban guns. And that's the exact reaction these stories are intended to get.
It's not actually to. It's the intent on that is not actually to ban the guns. It's just a political effect that they can have on people to then have their puppets run as presidents or as local enforcement
Really?
or Senate
well, that's
or
a good
anything like
thought.
that.
That's a good thought. I like
You
that
don't
actually.
you don't think
That's
they
quite.
You
You
don't.
can't. They know they can't.
Maybe.
I have. They know they
Uh,
know they know they can't get all the guns in America. You can't, dude.
Yeah.
You can't. You okay? Like, what
No,
happens? Just like
I
you guys
agree.
said,
I
when
agree with
hold
you.
on, hold on. When Obama comes in, people snatch up guns because of the fear, right?
Yeah.
When the 2012 Sandy Hook things happened, people grabbed at the AR-15 and AR-15 rounds like no other, right?
Yes.
So these people aren't just gonna go and shoot it off just like, yeah, all right. These people will fucking have it on their ranches. They'll bury it if they need to. They'll put
and
it
they'll
in
learn how
fucking
to
storage
use it.
carts. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
strip
yeah,
Yep.
it
dude.
down in the dark and
Yeah.
everything, man. You
The
know what I mean?
other
Well,
the other
yeah.
Yep.
conspiracy behind this shit is that they're doing these like gun control fucking things to sell guns. Yeah. Because definitely
Yeah.
whenever
It's
a ma-
effective.
whenever a mass shooting occurs, like people sell a bunch of AR-15s because everyone thinks they're gonna pass a law to ban that shit. So
Yeah, how deep is it? You know what I mean? It's like we've not got a fucking look, not got a fucking clue what's going on really. It
yeah,
could have
that's
been
what I'm
any one of
saying.
the, it could have been any one of them or all of them.
That's why like my strategy is like I basically we're a rat in a maze, right? In the scientific dictatorship, and no matter what path you take in the maze, you're gonna benefit the experiment. Like they've created the
Yeah,
paths for you
yeah.
to take. So the only solution is to just fucking not do shit and just sit still and be neutral and not react and not change. That's the only
Yeah.
solution. If you got a rat in a fucking maze in an experiment and the rat just like chills out and doesn't do shit, doesn't move, doesn't take any of the paths, he totally fucks up the experiment for the scientists. And that's what we are. We are rats in a fucking maze. They've created all these like paths
Yeah,
and
but he's just made
corridors.
himself. He's just made himself surplus to requirements, though. He's just signed his own death warrant. They don't want a. They don't want a rat that doesn't do
Well,
anything, so they just
well,
do
yeah,
away with it.
but what else are you
No,
gonna
I'm
do?
with
Like,
you.
are you if you take a path, you're just like participating in the
Yeah, I know.
experiment. Like the only solution to me is to not react, to not do anything, and that's why like I'm supporting this like fanatical middle shit, where right now they're trying to make people fanatical, push us to the extremes. Don't like this group, don't like that group. Um, and the solution is to just fucking not react to all that shit and just be neutral, be resist the changes, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but in action, yeah, just don't let them. Yeah, don't give them any of your energy. Don't let them suck because they just
Cuz
suck our energy, our thought, our psychic energy. They've invaded our thoughts to the point that we think about what they're doing to us rather than thinking what we should be doing, concentrating on the distractions and stuff like that. Whereas if we were able to just think, if you didn't think about all the problems that were going on in the world and you just focused on yourself and your family and stuff like that, I think it would naturally evolve. That you would succeed in most things that you would do or whatever, because you'd have all your thought. Because humans are quite inventive people. Left alone,
yes.
we're very good at solving problems.
That's why I
You
think
put someone in a
they've created this like alternative truther movement because we get into that shit because we know there's something wrong. We get into that shit, and then what does that shit promote? It promotes us to tell all this crazy shit to our family, and to
Yep.
our family and friends don't even want to talk to us anymore because we're saying all this crazy shit. So who does that help? It helps them. We've alienated ourselves from our friends and our family. That's why I stress to people, maintain the relationships you have and try and kind of live in your head and think your crazy thoughts to yourself, and just understand that these people aren't ready for this shit. But like if you ruin your relationships with people,
That's not worth it.
that's not worth
No.
telling them the truth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Some people don't want, and you think, in a way, what right do you have to tell anybody the truth? People are not. I don't think anybody's ready for the truth. I think I'd even be shocked. I've got some imagination, and You know, I kind of, you know,
You
I
can't
can go
handle
into
the sphere truth.
the that's not even a, you know,
I'm just kidding.
that, yeah, I know, man. Did you not see my wee troll in the?
Yeah, you're trolling. You're trolling us, so I got trolled back.
Yeah, I like that. Oh well, you know what I mean. It's like, you know, it's all in good fun. Nothing I say is, you know, it's we're all good PMARs. You know, I always have good conversations. But you know, it was quite good with Timmy actually. For a change,
Yeah,
it
Timmy
was quite
didn't
nice.
fucking lambast you about the sphere. That's
Ah,
what
well,
like.
I didn't go back at him either. You know,
Yeah,
we've
I
had a good, and you know,
and
I didn't get involved.
I don't know if Tim's still listening, but Tim, I think you should fucking chill out on that shit. Like, I don't know. When I talk to flat
Yeah,
earth
it's
people, I don't even try and like convince them they're wrong. Like, I try and focus on the shit we have in common. I think that's
yeah, I think it's
better.
funny. I like it when you go on Nathan's and you just say fucking things out of the blue,
I just
or you
fuck.
call fallacy and all that. Oh, that's a yeah. That's it.
Right, because like
And
Nick,
people are getting triggered. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't. Yeah.
I
It's,
basically just do what Nathan does. Like
mm,
I'm the mirror of Nathan, because like Nathan will call out begging the question on other people, but he begs the question all the time. Shit like that. Like he
yeah.
says, yeah, I don't know.
I just, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, but it's just entertainment. It's just a show there
Yeah,
to get a lot of the stuff, you know. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's just
I'm kind of being
sometimes,
when I go on there, I'm kind of being a character, and I think it's just entertainment. And I'm not really like, it's not a real debate. It's not a real like information show. Like obviously, so I don't know.
no, it's more about rhetoric and stuff like that. Rhetoric debate. I know
Yeah.
there's some like the long distance photographs and stuff and that kind of stuff, and there is some. Uh, Yeah, it's like what you say. You know, you know, it's who knows what the fucking truth is. But not, and I'm not talking about flat Earth, but I'm talking about the way that the conversation's going. It's like a flat Earth is using the same means of proof as the ball earther is using, but the flat earther's calling that a fallacy, and the ball earther is using a same style of presenting evidence as the flat earther, and it's also a fallacy. And the flat, it's like, you know, it just comes down to, you know, it's down to what you believe, and in the end up, I just find it a very very strange reaction because I used to get triggered as well. You know, I've improved like fucking. I've come along leaps and bounds. Where in the end up, you know, we know that we all know there's a bigger picture going on, but it's as if people's using it as like a form of it. Not everybody, but like a form of escapism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can guarantee you there's people that if they work, the first thing they do, because I used to do it myself, is come home from work and type in flat earth, see what's been happening, kind of thing. Or waking up in the morning, if you're not working, bang, flat earth, flat earth, flat earth, or ball earth, or fucking red rhetoric debates, all that kind of stuff. It's more of like an escapism kind of thing, you know, from that that people maybe know that life is shit, man, because life is shit. But I don't think I don't go about thinking that. You know, I'm on the positive side. I'm glad that I know life is shit because then I can work around it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? But if people actually sat down and thought about exactly the situation, and you know, majority of people have shit jobs. They're fucking arguing with their wife. They can't handle the kids, screaming. They're fucking all the problems and distractions, and their representative in the House of Commons or whatever, or their local MP, or their taxes, or you know what I mean. If they really look and wrote a big list of all the shit things in their life and all the good things in their life, it'd be like a sorry state of affairs. So I think people avoid that, and I suppose it's not a very nice place if you don't know how to handle it. You know, a very nice place to be, but you just accept it and get on with it. And I think I've got the same outlook as you, P Mars, mostly, but in different ways. I operate on the system that I trust everybody. until they prove that they're whatever, they're dickheads or whatever. I always, because I find that people expose themselves a lot quicker if they think that you trust them, kind of thing. So it's just and it gets the shit over and done with. I've used it most of my life. Let's get rid of all the shit, all the getting to know someone for months and months. Just act dead friendly and fucking accept people as they are and stuff like that. And then they either hold your trust or they'll break it, one of the two. And it's always been oh, I'm getting stoned now. It's like 8 o'clock. It's like half 8 in the morning. I've been up since about 6 o'clock smoking. Day off, you know what I mean? Say again?
I tried to get some weed tonight, but I failed. But
what do you think? What do you think of America going legal on this, legalizing it? Do you think it's a good thing and a bad thing?
I think it's a bad thing. Like I think all drugs should be legal, but I don't think they're legalizing weed because they love us and they care about us and they care about, being fair. They're legalizing weed because they want us all fucking stoned and docile
Yeah.
and not rebelling.
Yeah. The minute I heard they were legalized, because I used to think, oh yeah, legalize it. And then after so many years smoking it, I'm like, I wouldn't encourage anybody to start smoking. Not that I've got any regrets about it, because, here I am on the internet talking to you. I always believe things are connected in some way. If I hadn't started smoking, I wouldn't have been here, kind of shit. Might be self-delusion or whatever, but it works for me. I don't care, But I wouldn't encourage anybody to start smoking it, and then I get a bit suspicious. Why is it suddenly good for us? If it's been bad for us all this time,
Right.
Why is it suddenly good all of a sudden? Have they found something new out about it or something? You know what I mean? It's like fucking...
Eddie Bravo was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He's like, well, people woke up to weed and they used the power of their vote to legalize it. I just think that's retarded. Like, thinking that our votes matter and that this is all just like grassroots. Like, how long have people been fighting for weed legalization? Like, what, 50 years at least? Maybe, probably more.
Oh God, yeah, ever since it was made illegal.
Probably like 80 years. So
ever since they passed the law to say it was illegal, people were fighting for it to be made illegal. So it always starts with that, doesn't it?
But our votes didn't matter back then, but now, because the elite want to make it legal, now our votes matter. Like that's kind of the way I see it.
Yeah, well, that's it, and that's what I'm saying. That's like the different levels of being awake. Like, you have to take it. If you accept that all the evidence that we have. I mean, we've got so many. How many examples have we got of governments or local ministers or government officials or whatever lying to us? Right? How much evidence do they need? Yet still, people will discuss politics. Eddie Bravo talking about, good thing for it being legal and that. Finally, it's, and believing it's a grassroots kind of movement. It shows a different level of being awake. You can't accept that. You have to be a bit suspicious that anything that we get given to by the government, end of story. You have to believe it all. That we are getting we're under control. There's a fucking hidden agenda behind, and it's not for the good of humanity. That's 100%. There's so much evidence. Their actions are proving the point that they're not doing it for our good. So why should we even possibly believe that anything that the government does, no matter what it is, that they're going to actually be doing this a good thing?
They frame it as everything they do is for our good. And like, don't you like? And they don't.
Yeah, but people that are awake to the conspiracy, that was the point I was making, and I was agreeing with you with that Eddie Bravo thing.
Oh, right.
Even someone that thinks he's as awake as that, it's as if people won't take that extra step, and it's like they're holding on to a bias You know what I mean? Because
I
it's
mean, I
you
did
know
the same. I did the same shit because I love smoking weed, and I quit for 2 months, but I still like started again, and I don't have any right now, but I want some, and I love weed, and I think it's bad for me, and I think I shouldn't be doing it, but I still fucking do it, and it's stupid. And you're right, like how can I call myself awake if I'm just fucking smoking weed? Like obviously Aldous
no, yeah,
Huxley.
but you've got a choice. But the thing is, you've got a choice, OP man. So it's up to you. You're not naive and you're not stupid. You're taking a choice, an informed choice, an
But I'm
informed
making a
decision to take
bad
it.
choice because of a fucking addiction.
A fucking hell, man! If we can't make look, the whole point of being human is, well, there's two sides of it. There's just like the yin and yang, good choices and bad choices. We have to. If we didn't make bad choices, we wouldn't know what good choices were, and if we didn't make good choices, we wouldn't know. So we need the two. So we have to accept the bad choices that we make is just make. I mean, in the end up, it's not really affecting your life, man. It's not making you a bad person. It's not
Yeah,
whatever.
well,
You know what I mean. It's not making you a bad person, which is the most important thing, right? Now, if you want to smoke weed, that's a decision, or if people want to take drugs, that's their decision. But as long as they're taking it through an informed decision, of saying it's not a good thing to take it, but I enjoy doing it, and I'm fucking human. Why shouldn't I at least
well,
have some kind of release? Because
yes,
life's
that's the thing though. That's what I was doing. I was using weed to escape from reality, to release
mm-hmm.
myself, and that's not.
uh,
It's not fucking right, man. Like you gotta
you were
face
taking a
it.
vacation. You were taking a
No,
vacation
but I
because
was doing it.
all
I was
right,
abusing it, dude. I was doing it
all
all
right,
the
okay,
time. I
yeah,
was like constantly stoned. I was never sober. I was always high because I couldn't
oh okay,
deal. I
yep,
can't. It's like hard for me to deal with being sober because life is fucked up. And I
mm-hmm.
noticed like when I quit smoking weed, I was less docile. I was more like aggro and
Yeah, a bit more emotion,
yeah, and
yeah.
that's I don't know.
Yeah, well, don't
I
smoke it
probably
then.
piss.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, but just don't give yourself a bad time when you do. Fucking this is why this is a mentality you get in, right? We are brainwashed into there's things that rule us, and it's guilt and fear, right? The two of them, guilt and fear, and the guilt thing kicks in is when we do
Well,
something wrong, we hammer ourselves too much for it, right? Okay, so you stay sober for ages and then you fall
it
off the
wasn't like
bandwagon.
guilt. It wasn't guilt though, Ali. It was more like
No,
I
no, I'm not
felt.
talking about you
Yeah.
specifically. I'm talking about like if like with addictions and stuff like that. Why people I'm trying to take is when you give up and then you fall off the wagon, as they say, you fall off the wagon is the biggest reason that people stay on the wagon is because they feel guilty about falling off the wagon. Uh, so the way to get rid of the guilt is just to go back on the wagon, and that's what they do until the next time. And it's that guilt that puts them back on. You should think, well, I fell off the wagon, fuck it, I'm back on it again. Because every alcoholic, every drug addict or whatever will feel that guilt when they take it. And then one of the biggest reasons, not them all, but the biggest reasons that they'll go back on it is through guilt driving them. So they want to block that out because they were using it as an escapism from their problems in the first place. But if they didn't feel that guilt, think, fuck it, I fucked up, right? Let's move on and get off it and forget about feeling bad about yourself, or just say, fuck it, it's just, yeah, that was then, let's go. And it can happen if you put yourself into that mindset. So when you do fuck up, you don't give yourself, we're allowed to make mistakes, but we shouldn't fucking crucify ourselves. And that's what they've got us doing through guilt, through religion, and, and they've, we're guilty. It's our fault. The planet's dying and the fucking African babies are starving and, there's wars and stuff like that. We're going off and killing people. We say exactly we're at war with, well, I'm not at war with anybody, but we've got a habit of using that personal we. We've got to do better. We're destroying the environment. We are this, we are that. we're actually self-hating on ourselves. They've got us just by speaking the words and feeling that way and flinging that guilt in there, man. We're actually programming ourselves to hate ourselves, to feel that guilt, so they're quite easy giving up our freedoms and stuff like that because there's someone else suffering that's got fuck all to do with me. And some other cunts made a decision to go off to war and kill fucking innocent people because they want a bit of oil or gold or silver or whatever they want to take, or power or fucking whatever, just death. Or if they want to go and kill some people, you know what I mean? Have it, try a wee plan out. You know, they play it like a game. The world is a stage. It's a fucking game.
Yeah.
The grand chessboard is Zbigniew Brzezinski, or whatever you call him, wrote about. I never get his name. Brzezinski, that's the only, but I just...
Zbigniew.
Zbigniew, there we go. Zbigniew. Yeah, but him, he wrote that, the grand chessboard, and that's what it is. You know, very Masonic, He mentioned a chessboard kind of thing. But it is. But it is just a grand chessboard. That's how they look at it, these people. You know, they look at it on the bigger scale. We worry about the minutiae because we live in the minutiae. But they look how to influence countries rather than, you know, they use the same techniques, but they work on the majority, you know, through religion and voting and governments and stuff like that. They just have to hit, you know, 60% of the population. They've got it sussed. You know, that's democracy, innit? Mob rule. They've got us convincing, they've got us screaming for democracy when people don't actually realise what democracy is. It's the antithesis of fucking individuality, man. And that's what fucking man thrives on. We're all individuals, you know. But no, we want to be democratic where, you know, two people can decide over what one person wants to do. That's not very fucking... I don't think that's... You know, if the other two people want to do it, let them go ahead and do it. But don't expect me because you two want to do it. I have to do it as well, kind of thing. That's basically democracy.
Yeah, democracy is mob rule. Plato says it turns into tyranny, and America is supposed to be a republic, but they've like brainwashed people to not even think it's a republic. That it's just mob.
Yeah, man.
It's democracy.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If people don't, people forget that it's a democrat. Oh, America's a democratic. They forget about it's actually a fucking republic.
Yeah, they forget. They just call it a democracy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. And that's like,
shit, but democracy is not like, because like a republic. The idea of the republic is to defend the minority, because you don't want just the majority ruling over the minority. That's tyranny. Mob rule. So the idea of the republic is that the minority gets protected and not just trampled over, but we've lost that idea because it serves the elite to have us think that, you know, democracy is the shit when it's not, and everyone just believes it
and continues voting. They continue voting for us.
But see, like, I agree with what you're saying about the guilt and the drug use and shit, but I just think, like, I think I should be a better person, and I should not drink, I should not do drugs, I should just face reality and not be a pussy, because I think every time I drink or every time I smoke weed, I'm just being a fucking pussy, and I'm not willing to face reality, and I'm trying to escape shit. And
yeah, well, just accept the shit then. I don't mean accept it. I don't mean that, but accept it as the part of it. But it's easier said than done.
Aldous Huxley and Bertrand Russell talked about basically using marijuana or drugs, whatever, alcohol or pharmaceuticals, to manipulate people, brainwash them, propagandize them, get them to accept bullshit. Like, I feel like if I wasn't getting high and drinking, I'd be pissed off and I'd be like trying to like actively make changes, you know? But like these drugs just make me docile, and I still do them I try not to. I know fucking better, but I still do them. This is so fucked up about the propaganda, Ali, dude. It's like I know better. I know all about this shit, but it still works on me. Like I've been in a dentist office where I've known what the dentist is saying to me is bullshit, but I just believe him because I'm fucking brainwashed to believe anyone in a fucking white lab coat, you know?
Right. Okay. Right. Fair enough. Right. But that's a big job to take on. What I do, like, because I guarantee if we had I'm not going to have a conversation about what I think life is, or what how shit life is, and that it'd probably depress loads of people. But we're exactly on the same thing, but the same thinking of it. But I realise that my job is just to inform the people close to me, and if I can tell just one person, but in a way I've learned, you can't just say, "Oh, the government's and blah blah." You've got to use a kind of a certain way of talking where it's part, where you're pissed off something happened, and then don't make a big deal out of it, and then just whatever. There's certain ways, but as long as I feel I'm doing my job, as long as, like, with my kids, I explain, about the monetary system, about corporations, a bit about law, their rights and stuff like that.
Do your kids
And
listen to you?
yeah. Honestly, man, I was having dinner the other night with my daughter. My daughter's quite. She's good, man. You want to hear the conversation? We had a conversation about politics and theology and that, man. And I was sat looking across at her, and she just, it was, she's getting taught in quite way, but she's not any different than any other brain that's a child's brain or whatever. It's, every kid is fucking special, man. It's unfortunately the school system fucks them up. But she's just happened to have a good education, and I've been talking about everything since she's been a kid. I've always talked to her like straight about things, but judged how deep. But it's like I don't even know the point. Forget it. I don't know what I was talking about there. I just waffled. I don't know waffle there. But it was about about life getting. So I only think about who I can influence close to me, and if I can just do that, that's fine. That's my job. My job kind of done. Because you have to think, right. I always look at the way Agenda 21 works. Right, they're not instigating national rules as such. They're doing it on a micro level to where they're counting exactly how much energy each household uses. They're starting down at community levels. That's where they're starting their infiltration, not up at the top. They've got the top sussed. They're doing it. So that's where you have to fight. If you're going to do any fighting, it has to be on a local level kind of thing, because when you're in a community, more people, the powers that be don't have a target as such. If you know what I mean, their target is a group of people, and they don't like groups of people. So the best way to do your fighting is do it on a local level. Just be mentioning shit to your local house. It's like, I don't care. I'll tell anybody about. I've always talked politics. I'm not bothered whether anybody in my real life, if I talk about flat Earth, if I do that, I don't talk about it much. I talk about the more relevant stuff that we get lied to about, kind of thing. But I don't care who I tell. I don't care about their reaction, because I know I've got evidence in the way that I'll put it across. I've always got an answer, for people out in the public, because they don't know half the shit that's going on, kind of thing. I say, well, and I can quote names and give references and stuff like that. And if I can change someone's mind like that and keep it on a tone where, if people start shouting, just keep talking softly, not to the point you sound like a hippie, but keep it calm and say, don't provoke. Try not to use sentences that's going to provoke, people. And eventually they'll calm down, and then you can talk, and that argument's forgotten about, kind of shit. But my strategy is at local level and people close to me, and maybe strangers I meet at the bus stop. But no, I'm not going out protesting. I don't agree with that or demonstrating. It's just a waste. It's easy to get infiltrated,
Oh yeah.
whereas you can't infiltrate yourself. You know what I mean? You know that you can trust yourself. You know what I mean? You're going about, so you know that you know, and then get a bit more wary when you get involved with groups. But if you're going about just yourself, just telling people, fucking safe as houses, man. You know what I mean? There's no infiltrators. It's just you one on one with another person like that, and it's how you get it. And, he might mention it. I met this weird dude today. Thought about this, and it's amazing how, like, just to get him to mention in his little circle about something that he met someone that said this. You know, there's a good chance that one of his friends is actually knows about it or whatever. It's that kind of knock-on effect kind of thing, like causing a little ripple, but on a small scale. And that's how to spread news, not going about shouting and bawling. Nobody listens. The minute if someone shouts at you, PMARS, don't we all usually just switch off, right?
Yep.
You know. So
Yeah,
it's
I
just
think even even if you have all the facts and evidences, and I can support a lot of my claims with I the globalist books and stuff, and people don't even care. Like, people don't care about evidence and shit. They're just gonna kind of believe what they want to believe, and I don't know. I think you should almost just like not even fucking talk about anything with people unless they show an interest in what's really going on, because otherwise I think you're just kind of wasting your time, I guess. I don't know.
yeah. But as for your job as a communicator, if you want to communicate, you've got to suss out the psychology of that person and find something. The secret of getting people to listen to you, or especially about conspiracies, if is you know all about the monetary system, religion, and all that, so you can form a plan of attack. Because most people are bothered about money, right? And anything to do, because we talked about that people have, there's another system there apart from money, but people worship kind of money. They think that's the way to freedom, which is kind of in a way, if you want it in that system. But you've got to make them angry about a subject that's taking money away from their kids. So you might add, you might put their kids in there, kids, money, family, and someone's trying to,
That's
you just got to think tactics. You know what I
no,
mean?
that's pretty
When you do,
smart, because whenever they want to like pass a law, they kill a bunch of our children, and they go, "Oh look, all these children died in the school. Let's ban guns." Stuff like that. So yeah.
yeah, well, that's it. That's exactly it. And then, it's about strategizing. If you want to communicate a point across, you need to strategize and suss out what that person. And look, the majority of people that you're going to be talking to do have family, kids, and they know they need money to survive and stuff like that. For example, someone that's got money, you could possibly say, well, do you know what? Fuck, I just read there in the Washington Post, give it a bit of authority, that the Senate's just passed a motion saying that they've come out and said, or the Congress has come out and said it's okay for them to insider trade. Yeah, but didn't they just sue a guy for it? Why would they have the right to insider trade? I just find that funny. And that's it. And they just fling that out there and see if you can get a discussion going. And then now you've got a discussion going about that they'll be passionate about money, fraud, and then you can work around it if you can be bothered. But as I say, there's always, because of your knowledge, it's quite amazing, Pete, because you understand the system, loads of stuff, and you just need to, and you'll find that you'll be quoting things that you'd forgot you knew, or like you just end up freestyling, where you're hitting every point, kind of thing. But you've got to strategize. You've got to think, right, most people are influenced by money and their families. So let's create a situation where they're pissed off. Let's make them pissed off about something. You know what I mean? So do what politicians use: grab a baby, kiss a baby, man. bring the baby into the conversation, man. Kids,
Oh,
hey, it's always a winner. You know, use our tactics.
that's a really good idea. I think we need to strategize more about what to do to defeat these people, because holding conventions and that's not gonna do shit. I don't know. These protests not gonna do shit. But some of these ideas you brought forth, I think they're pretty smart and would be effective. So
Ah, but it's only, and you know that, right? But I can't take, well, I can only take credit for communicating my point across. But that's only came from that. Only that opinion. There's only came from like reading so much shit, like Aldous Huxley and you know, Bernays. I've read all them, and the Vance Packard and all the art of propaganda and all that kind of stuff, and came to the conclusion is like, fuck it, let's, you know, how are they fighting us, or the art of war, the Kabbalah, loads of these books I've read. And it's only thanks to them that it's of that it's, you know, everybody's got this in them. They just need to think a wee bit, you know, just think about strategy that they use against us. We know they use NLP, but in a good way, with good intent, you know, rather than the opposite. Because, you know, as someone like yourself, P Mars, you're here because you want to tell, you're on the internet because you're driven by the need to tell people, hey, we're getting fucked over. Same as me. When I first got on the internet, I discovered we were getting controlled by a elite amount of people. And I think it was about 2 weeks later, I was making videos about it, angry as fuck. And this is years ago, man. This is about 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Angry as fuck, man. Giving it, shouting the truth and stuff like that. So we're driven to, it's just we need to be a bit smarter to communicate it across. And yeah, don't get into debates about it. If someone wants to debate, you know, just don't get involved with debate, and get involved with a discussion. You know, we had a discussion. I had a discussion with Timmy, yourself, tonight, and it was very enlightening. I got a good couple of new ideas off you and Timmy. It was quite interesting, even though we've got fucking different beliefs about different things and that. We just had a discussion instead of having a debate about something.
well, see, like, I think they're getting us to not get along based on stupid beliefs, when in reality, even though, okay, like, you got you and me, we have a disagreement on the shape of the earth, but we agree on a lot of like conspiratorial shit. But then
like, yeah, enough everything.
But then
that's about the only thing. Yeah.
You look at us and people who are completely a part of the system, you know, like Democrats, Republicans, and if you're an American, they just completely buy into everything they see on TV and all that shit. They're still on our side, right?
Yep.
They're being mind controlled, indoctrinated, brainwashed, led astray, but they're still on our side, and they're gonna fight us based on stupid beliefs. And we need to get through to those people that, look, it's us versus these rich elite. We're all in the same boat. Just because, you know, you don't believe 9/11's an inside job, you believe the Earth's flat, like whatever. That shit doesn't matter. What matters is like, yo, we're all being enslaved by these people. Let's get together and take the power back. Like, that's what fucking matters. But no, they got us fighting over these petty differences that don't even amount to anything. You know, we're fighting over shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're actually, yeah, good way of putting that. Actually, Puma, I never thought we're actually on the same side, but the only difference is that they've been indoctrinated. I totally agree. As from children, man, that's why I'm always quite forgiving regarding that. I don't look down on anybody. I don't think I'm any better because I know something. You mentioned that about, and a lot of people.
That's
do
a trick. That's
hey,
a
I've
trick.
got a secret. Yeah, but that yeah, exactly. I do not feel in any. You know, I could go deep into self-worth and stuff like that.
We need to be humble. We need to be humble.
Yeah, exactly.
And
But
Like
Go on.
a lot of these like truth people, they think, "Oh, I figured out everything and I know what's true now." No, you don't. You got to be humble. Humble yourself. Like,
It's like what you're saying, exactly what you said earlier on. The truth is that we don't know the truth, and when we admit that, then it's, you know what I mean. It's the way to move on. But these people think, oh, I've found the truth, and they bring in, right, because this is what makes me laugh, right? They are so awoke, right? That attitude of looking down on people is something from outside, from the mainstream,
yep.
that they're bringing in to a group of people that are after the truth or want to know, gain some extra knowledge or whatever. They're bringing that poison into the actual community of people that want to find out something. So they're far from awake, if you know what I mean. They're actually poisoning the well, if you want. You know what I mean? By their attitude, thinking that they've got the ultimate truth, and they look down. And it is very prevalent. And there's that high and mighty on both sides. But as I say, I'm not concerned with the ballers. Really, it's that they're not representing me, or representing what I believe is the shape of the earth or whatever. I'm more worried about the people that are representing it. You know, that's why I fuck them all. You know, and I don't mean that like I don't really care what anybody thinks about me. I just see it just hypocrisy on both sides, kind of thing. You know, so but that's
Yeah.
but that's that attitude. That's that I know better. So when both sides accuse each other of doing it, it's true. You know, people do think, but I know better than you. And yeah, you might know better than me, but there's no need to have a fucking attitude about it.
Hmm.
It's what you said about being humble. Yeah, okay, accept it. Okay, I know a bit better than you, but it doesn't mean that you've got to get that emotion of feeling better. You know, it's just a fact. It's still only a
Well,
fact, and a fact there is no emotion attached to a fact.
yeah, I think
Like,
if you're in this mindset of where you think you're better than people because you know some truth that they don't know, like you've fallen victim to the propaganda. In my opinion, you're not you're not helping shit by putting other people down and saying you're better than them because you know this one factoid. You know.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you knowing that, P Mars, right? I don't mean you. I'm talking about the universal you, or people that know that, but still, what do you call it? Like what I say, me just knowing that, right? That if I did start thinking, oh, I'm better than that person, I would know for a fact that that was my ego, or that was uh, and the brainwashing or whatever, the mind programming slipping back into my personality. So I would know that. So I would think, well, why would I want to let that in? So I wouldn't. It's impossible for me to do that, because the minute I would start thinking, which I don't, but I know for a fact if I did, my knowledge that, oh, that's my fucking ego, I have no right to think that, would enter my head, and so immediately I would stop feeling like that if I did ever. So it's impossible for it's like once you've seen a certain truth, you can never go back. You can never forget that. You can, oh, I don't want to know that. I'll forget that. You know what I
So
mean? It's like you can't do it. It's impossible, and psychologically, it's impossible to do that. So when I get accused of thinking like that, I'm like, well, I can't think like that, because that would mean I would be bringing the mainstream, or the brainwashing, or the manipulation. Any one of my emotions that gets triggered or whatever, or anything like that, I always analyze it. Always in a split second. I don't sit and ponder it. It takes a split second. Is that the brainwashing coming in? Is that my own thought, or is that a controlled thought? Because no matter how much we think we know the truth, we'll never escape that. The little ones that get through, the little programs that slip through accidentally, and make us act in that mainstream kind of designed kind of thought pattern way kind of thing. So I'd be honest, yeah.
so
But that's just my
Flatten Earth in the chat said, I figured out everything, and my everything is that I know nothing. So what do you
that's
think? So well, I disagree with this though, because like 1984, they says ignorance equals strength, and then I hear a lot of people say the more I know, the more I know nothing and shit. What do you think about that? Like, I think that's like a ignorance equals strength type of mentality, and they've got people in
Ah,
this.
but we talked about that, PMARS,
Yeah.
about that attitude. You can have it, but that's okay. I'll change. I'll change it. That's going back to that pure cynicism kind of thing. But it's not cynicism to say, "Oh, I don't know. I know that I know nothing." It's not cynicism, but it's the same kind of road that you're. That's an absolute, and it's an absolute where you won't be able to take anything. You know, it's a finishing point. That saying, "Oh, I know that I know nothing," kind of thing. It's like, right. So you can't trust anything, and it's like being a cynic that you can't believe anything. It's the same kind of mind frame that you get in. So it's not a very good place. You know something. I know I exist, and people say, "How do you know I exist?" Well, because if you punch me in the face, it'd hurt.
Well, I think
That's
everything.
my proof.
I
You
don't
know
think.
that philosophical and this is what gets me, and this is what put us in the problems. Now, from that, right, you can go into a metaphysical. Oh, what is reality and stuff like that, and that's what's happened. They've taken off us. They're using our brains to sit and think about things that that are useless, basically, in the real world to help us. It's not real mattery stuff. It's the metaphysical, anything to do with the brain. They've taken away that because we invent things and we think things and we look at problems. But they've got, if people were left to think, I guarantee you, our governments and stuff like that, or the people that are actually in power, have taken the job on to do the shit that we haven't got time to do, whilst because we are producing wealth for the country. But if they actually had a lot of time to sit about and think and look at actually what was happening around the world and stuff like that, these people wouldn't be in power at all. So
Yeah,
they've got us down
I
thinking about
agree.
metaphysical things and going into that philosophy, oh, reality, what's reality and stuff like that. Well, the reality of the situation is I'm a lump of matter at the moment, and it's so that I'll start from there, kind of thing. I do exist, Forget that other. You can do that, but I had conversations when I was 16 on mushrooms about that with my friends. We used to, when you're on mushrooms, you tend to go off like that. And we used to go out of groups and just sit about seven of us talking about, what's reality, and oh, look at the colours in there. Why are we seeing these colours? But when we're not on this, are we seeing the colours that are actually coming off there because our pupils are taking in more light instead of hallucinating? When you're on mushrooms, if you've ever stared at a wall and it kind of starts dripping, then you get these colours that if you drop oil into water, kind of thing, you actually see these dripping down the wall, kind of thing, right? Now they say that's hallucinations. I disagree, because if you look, when you take acid or any hallucinogen, your pupils widen. They get wider and wider, meaning that they're taking in actually more light. So I believe that when you're looking at these colours, when you're actually hallucinating, they're actually there. They're actually there because your pupils are actually widening the quality and the amount of light that you're taking in. I don't believe it's not there and your brain's making it up. It's your eyes are seeing it, and then because everything comes through your eyes. Everything you see comes through your eyes. So your eyes are seeing it and your brain's decoding it. Well, why is it decoding it in that way? The only thing that's changed is your pupils have got bigger, kind of thing. But when you go down that, so when I was like 16, as I say, 16, 17, out in a forest, lived next to a forest, we used to go pick mushrooms, magic mushrooms, go into the forest and talk about this shit. Talk about all the philosophy. What are we? Where do we come from? I believed in the stars at the time that were billions of light years. I bought into all that kind of stuff. We used to talk about that. What's reality? Not like 16, 17-year-old man.
Yeah,
Used to do
well,
this. So I see it's just it's a waste of fucking time. You don't go anywhere. It's just you talking about shit, and then you go into the real world, and then it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't teach you philosophy. Doesn't teach you morality or anything like that.
they purposely have not taught us morality in schools because intentionally tried to destroy morality and values in our society to create the sort of situation where they can create the most change. That's shit. Yeah, they're promoting chaos. But I don't. It's weird. It's like I don't think people are stupid. You know, like everyone has their own interest in whatever they're interested in. People know a lot of shit about their own one particular topic. So I don't know. I don't like this idea of people going, oh, the more I learn, the more I know. I learn I don't know anything type shit. Like I think that's
Well, I'm kind of torn actually now thinking about it too. It's a good starting point, but it's not a place to stay. If you know what I mean.
it just
It's like
reminds me
it's
of
a good starting point. It's a good starting point to wipe the slate clean, and then gather knowledge.
it
And then
reminds me
and
of 1984 where they say ignorance equals strength. Like the more I know, I know nothing. Like that's the same.
I get.
And everyone is saying that shit. But it's like even my dad, who's like fucking dumb as fuck, he doesn't know shit about any truth. You know, he knows a lot about like the stock market. That's what he's into. He knows a lot about sports. Like a lot of these people you think are idiots, they can recite to you sports statistics or some movie star shit. You know, they have a lot of information. It's just like they're interested in bullshit because they're being distracted by the elite who's making them, oh, entertainment, look at this, and that's what they focus on, and that's what they learn about. But these are intelligent people that otherwise left to their own devices, like you said, Ali, they could be figuring out solutions to all the problems in the world, but they don't want solutions to the problems in the world. They want these problems to get power over us, to get our
Yeah.
So we're not stupid. We're smart people. Like I don't care if you agree with me or not. Like you're smart. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're interested in, you're smart about that shit. Humans are smart, but it's like at the same time, like they're really smart, but they're really gullible and easily led at the same time. It's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, it's but see that's where that what was his name, plain truth or plain thing that you said about, where he said that's where that saying would come at, would help you become a bit more humble. If everything that you didn't know, the more that you know, the more you realise. So as I say, it's a tool. It's a frame of mind to be used as a tool to clean yourself, I suppose, and then to cast aside and say, right, what is the truth then? Let's find out, and then start with yourself. Right, I exist. There we go. Right, let's take it from there. You know what I mean? It's like all these frames of mind. They've got their uses. You know, it's like if you go for example, I got taught very young that if when I first left school, I got told by a guy, when you go for a job interview, imagine you're interviewing the job. You know, that you're actually interviewing the company to see if it's suitable to you. He says, put yourself in that frame of mind, and he says you'll do fine. And the majority of jobs that I've applied for, I always walk in. Some people say, imagine the guy naked or whatever, but I found the person, the interviewee, naked. I just found that so easy. I'll just go in and I'll interview, see if the company's, and it works. It worked for me anyway. You know, I go, as I say, I had a very high percentage. I've had fucking hundreds of jobs, man, and I've had every time I've got most of my interviews when I've been sat across from a person being interviewed. I've always got my job, always, majority of the times anyway. I've always got my work, and that's just, and it's a frame of mind. It's like a tool. And if we learn to use these certain frames of mind, you know, is it time, like deciding, is it time to be emotional or is it time to be practical? You know, like if you're going to punish your child, and I don't mean by hitting them, I mean possibly by taking something off them or, you know, denying them access to something that they like. that they would miss if they didn't have, kind of thing. You know, that kind of way. But that's about that. Right, P Mars, I'm going to call it a. I've got stuff to do.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks for chatting, man.
Oh, it was brilliant, P. Always a pleasure, mate.
Right on.
We always talk good shit. Yeah, you just let me ramble.
Yeah, I like people that ramble because I'm a man of few words. So
Oh, I don't know when you get going.
yeah.
You know, I was doing well. You made some good fucking points, man. You know what I mean? So
Thanks, man.
anyway,
You did too.
yeah, cool. Yeah, have a good one. And
The
yeah,
Earth is a sphere, so.
yeah, well, it's flat as fucking. You know it. See you later. Bye. I'm gone.